Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So, the Federal Reserve came out with their monetary policy statement today. A lot of economists were predicting up until this point that there would be a drop in interest rates, that the Federal Reserve was going to change their stance on monetary policy and move back into an easing. And that didn't happen. They are going to keep interest rates. They're going to maintain them where they are. They're going to keep it at the 2.5%. But they put out this statement. I thought I would read it to you here. And it says, after extensive deliberations and through the review of experience to date, the committee judges that it is appropriate at this time to provide additional information regarding its plans to implement monetary policy over the longer run. Additionally, the committee is revising its earlier guidance regarding the conditions under which it could adjust the details of its balance sheet normalization program. Accordingly, all participants agreed to the following. The committee intends to continue to implement monetary policy in a regime in which ample supply of reserves ensures that control over the level of the Fed funds rates and short-term interest rates is exercised primarily through the setting of the federal funds administrated rates, and in which active management of the supply of reserves is not required. The committee continues to view changes in the target range for the federal funds rate as its primary means of adjusting the stance of monetary policy. The committee is prepared to adjust any of the details for completing balance sheet normalization in light of the economic and financial developments. Moreover, the committee would be prepared to use a full range of tools, including altering the size and composition of its balance sheet, if future economic conditions were to warrant a more accommodative monetary policy than can be achieved solely by reducing the federal funds rate. So yeah, all these economists came out there. They said that the monetary policy of the Federal Reserve was going to do an about face, that they were going to go back into easing, that interest rates were going to drop, and yeah, and I said nope. The Federal Reserve is either going to maintain interest rates, they're going to keep them here at 2.5%, or they're going to raise interest rates. And to be honest with you, I think I was actually more right than wrong on this, considering that the very first line of this, the committee intends to continue to implement monetary policy in a regime in which an ample supply of reserves ensures that the control over the level of the Fed funds rate. So the monetary policy in a regime in which ample supply of reserves ensures, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to require that the banks have more of a reserve on hand. So if you can imagine depositing money with the bank doesn't hold all that money. They loan most of it out, but they got to keep a certain amount of it on hand, and that's called the reserve. And the Federal Reserve is going to require that the banks have a bigger reserve on hand. And I can only imagine that the banks are going to require either like a bigger down payment or a higher interest rates in order to build up these reserves. So I honestly think that I was more right than wrong than a lot of these other people out there saying that they were going to either maintain the interest rates or drop them. I said they were going to maintain interest rates or raise them. And considering that they're going to require a bigger reserve in the banks, this monetary policy in a regime in which ample supply of reserves ensures the control over the level of the Fed fund rates, I'm only assuming that that is going to be a pressure on interest rates to go up, right? For the banks to try and build up that reserves. Anyway, I am going to go and break down the Federal Reserve press conference speech, and because there was a lot of really good things to talk about inside of that, and so I'm going to post this video, and hopefully I'll get that one done tonight too, and so I'll post that one later on this evening. But yeah, it looks like the monetary policy out of the Federal Reserve, they're going to maintain the interest rates and may even cause some of the interest rates to rise if they're forcing these banks to build up their reserves. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Uneducated Economist, talk to you later. That's a good shot, man. That looks really nice out there right now. Yeah. All right, talk to you guys later.